Hey guys, Grayson Goff here with BKI Paintball. I have my mother here, Penny Reeves Goff. Mom, radio personality, horse rider, everything else, fitness instructor. So I get a lot of I get a few messages every once in a while, and I see it at my clinics. Parents or either kids like concerned with their parents, like what they think of paintball, and either they're having trouble like getting permission to go to tournaments, to travel, to even to just play. You know, sometimes the parents have some concerns about their children playing this game with guns, and so I wanted to interview my mom and ask her, you know, why she let me play paintball, why she let me travel all over the place when I was like barely 16. So without further ado, I had some questions already lined up for her. I asked you on Facebook for some more, so we're gonna just kind of go free flow and go through some of these questions and see what we find out. So I wanted to first ask, what sports was I not allowed to play in growing up?
Football. I didn't want to play football.
Yeah, that's the one I remember.
But you know, I mean, this is funny because I remember when you and your sister both were little. I mean, I didn't like guns at all. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm still not real comfortable with them. Although paintball guns are kind of fun, yeah. but I wasn't comfortable with them. And I remember when you guys were like 3 and 4 years old, you're out in the yard picking up sticks, going bang, 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 bang. I mean, I grew up playing Annie Oakley with guns in my holster, so guns are a part of childhood. And I quickly got over it as soon. I think you went to a birthday party when you were in 3rd grade or something, where a kid invited you to a birthday party.
I was like 10. I think I was 10 or 12. I was young.
Holy moly, you were hooked.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. I watched it. Everybody had such a good time.
Yeah.
The emphasis was on safety, and man, you wanted to go back. You wanted your next birthday party to be a paintball birthday party. It was like, I think that's what started the whole thing. But football, I just didn't like the contact in football.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you talking about the first birthday party is good for this next question. What was your first impression of paintball?
I mean, when people said the word, I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I mean, that's why Mother Gorilla, I go with my 10-year-old kid to somebody else's paintball birthday party because I want to see what it's like.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. I mean, it was one of those woods things, but it was well run, well organized. Okay. My first impression once I saw it was like, okay, this is all right.
Okay, second part of that question, because somebody asked, what was your first impression? What was your first impression of tournament paintball?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
Because I could watch. I mean, you can sit behind the net and you can cheer and you can yell and you can be obnoxious.
Yeah.
So I really like tournament paintball.
Okay.
I prefer that. And I know there's people like to go out in the woods and play the woods paintball or the fields where they're kind of out in the woods. Mm-hmm. But I really like tournament paintball.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of a fan. I mean, while you're playing, but I got to know all the players and got to know the kids playing, and I really enjoyed that.
Okay. Did I have any conditions so I could play? I'll answer this.
Oh yes, go ahead, answer that.
I remember. I guess I remember grades, and then obviously when I was really young, I had a bunch of chores. I couldn't.
Yes.
I was too young to have a job. I was 13, 14.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of chores I had to do. So y'all would pay so I could buy paint. And then I had to keep my grades up. And I remember that always biting me in the ass because I get those 3-week interim report cards. So I never get a bad grade, but I'd always have bad grades halfway through the little 6-week semester, and then I'd always bring my grades back up. But every 3 weeks I was grounded for 3 weeks. I couldn't play paintball. And I remember on one of my birthdays I was really pissed off because I couldn't go to a big scenario game like in Houston or something. But those are the 2 conditions I remember, is chores and grades.
And then later on, when you were in high school, you worked at a paintball store.
And but it was still, I mean, I feel like y'all always were kind of helping me, because at that point I was traveling a lot, that y'all were still helping me to some degree, but I did have jobs. And I remember that one car, that red Supra I bought, and y'all told, and I was so excited we bought it, and y'all bought it, but basically Dad did it where it's like I had to pay it all back, and I was gonna have to pay a few $100 each month, and I started realizing like I only make a few $100 each month at
This
this
is cutting my
crappy job.
paintball.
Like, I'm either gonna have to quit paintball or have this like cool car. And I think a month later I sold
You sold the
thing.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was because of that. Like, I didn't want to give up on paintball.
No.
So
We knew you were more than hooked.
yeah.
When
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it was one of those things. Yeah, y'all financially supported me when I was really young. I definitely helped out a lot more when I was older, and I worked
But
at a paintball store. I cleaned shit out of the vet.
Yeah, you worked. Oh, that's right. You worked at the vet hospital.
I did babysitting at
the Springs.
the country or the health, the fitness center. So
Yeah.
I mean, I did kind of anything I could to make extra money so I could keep playing as much as possible. I refed at a paintball field.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So anything I could do. All right, so that one answers that one. I mean, were you skeptical? You know, this kind of goes back to the other. Were you skeptical in the beginning when I first started playing? Like when I first.
I don't know if it's skeptical. I didn't know where it would lead. I was like, oh, is this going to make him like some, gun guy or something? And it really, then when I saw it, especially when we got into tournament paintball, what a team effort it was, and the practices, and the commitment, and the workouts, and it was like, and the strategy. I mean, I was really, your sister played tournament basketball. I mean, she played on select basketball teams. So there was, in every sport like that, when you're playing at that level, there's travel involved. I hate to say it, I saw some much more negative occurrences watching girls select basketball than I did your paintball.
Yeah.
So, when you're playing at that level and I was very impressed.
Yeah.
No, once I got into it, then I
gave it a shot.
You know what I used to not like at the old fields that you used to go play at. The parents, anybody had to stand way back because even with a mask on, you were kind of bodily exposed. And you couldn't go out where the players were playing. But then when they got to tournament, that was like awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. At what point did you realize at least I started taking paintball more seriously?
High school. I think it was high school. I mean, because, well, my goodness, the car was certainly a significant one.
Yeah.
You'd miss doing social things with friends, girlfriends, friends, because you had a tournament the next morning. So you'd be home on Friday night because your dad was driving you to the paintball field.
Or I missed my graduation.
You missed your graduation.
Or not even for a tournament, it was for a tryout.
Yeah.
I guess that was a pretty good sign.
Yeah.
Was there a specific catalyst that helped you accept paintball? Was there something
going to tournaments?
Going to tournaments.
Going and watching and being, Dad used to take you. When you travel before you could drive, he'd drive you to the weekend-long tournaments and hang out with the team. So he felt like he knew the guys, and he was really. I mean, we talk about it. We come back because there were all ages in the team. It wasn't just kids your age.
Well, what if the parent can't travel with the kid? What if you never went? What do you think you would have seen in me that you were like, okay, this is a good thing for him?
Oh, I think it was your commitment.
Yeah.
I mean, you were really, when you've got a passion, when you've got a kid that's got a passion for something, I don't care what it is, piano lessons, art, paintball, basketball, acting, which is what your sister does, whatever it is, they got a passion for it. Man, let them pursue the passion. One of the things I loved about it, that little carrot of good grades and doing your chores and stuff, dangling so you could pursue your passion.
Yeah.
Man, that made it easy for me as a parent to say, did you clean your room? Yeah. Grayson, it's not clean. Are you going to go play? Oh, God, clean my room. I mean, so for me, made my job a lot easier.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, this is a good one because at first I remember Dad driving me to these tournaments. Mm-hmm. At what point was it okay with y'all that I started traveling with my teammates?
I think when we met the people on your team, and there were some big older guys on your team that were dads, and I think when we met some of the people on your team and got to know them, and felt like these are pretty good guys and saw their commitment as well. Talk to you about it. I think we felt pretty good about.
I can't remember if I was like 17 or 18 or maybe I may have been younger, but I remember I may have been 16. That first tournament I went to in LA, like it was like 2002. I could probably figure out my age if I just did math, but What like,
because I can't do the
yeah,
math.
what was your biggest like concern then when I actually like left the house and traveled to a different city? Did you have any because you trusted those guys, or?
I trusted those guys. Always your concern when you're traveling. Heck, it's my concern now because you're still my little boy. You know, if you get, are you going to get in a car wreck? Are you going to get hurt? Are you going to? But Grayson, those were our same concerns about Maddie when she go to basketball tournaments all over, or go to horse shows somewhere. So at some point, you if you instill in your kid, you see their passion for something. You know they don't want to mess it up. But if you instill in your kid the right set of values, you gotta let them go. I mean, at some point, they've gotta, go out and either make mistakes or grow and learn on their own.
Yeah.
And I think you do enough due diligence as a parent that you feel like it's the safest it can be, but you can't bubble wrap them.
Yeah.
I like to, but you can't bubble wrap them.
And that's why you have two, in case
in case one of you didn't make it.
Yeah. Okay, the next question I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna save for the end. But why do you think there's a lot of parents out there that are hesitant to let their kids travel and play? And maybe like what would you say to them?
I mean, if you're hesitant and if you have concerns, meet the people.
Yeah.
Go out and meet the people. Take them to dinner. Invite them to your house for dinner. Get to know them.
Yeah.
Travel with your kid at first.
If you can.
If you can travel with your kid, travel with your kid. But get to know the people. Mm-hmm. Get a good feeling. A lot of these teams have a coach or a player coach. Get a good feeling for the player coach. Mm-hmm. Again, to go back to some of the select sports you see, oh my goodness, there's some scary coaches out there that are brutal to the kids on the court or the field, softball field or basketball court. And so, my goodness, I mean, that's for any sport. Get to know your kids' coaches and teammates, and is that the environment you want them in?
Yeah. Then that makes sense too. And I wanted to touch on a point where it's like, I think at one point I heard Dad say, he's like, well, you're not addicted to heroin, so that's a good thing. It's like if you're gonna get if your kid's gonna get in trouble, he's gonna find trouble regardless if he plays football, basketball, doesn't do anything, and sits at home and plays the Xbox or plays paintball. Yeah. And that's another thing. There's a lot of kids out there that they're somewhat bubble wrapped. They sit on their couch, they play Xbox. If they play any sport, they're all given a gold ribbon for participation. And paintball, I think, because that's one of the next questions I'm gonna ask, what I learned from it. But it's like there's good days, there's bad days, there's winners, there's losers, there's dealing with all different types of people. There's
all different
learning
personalities
leadership.
On the team.
Yeah, there's
and taking
leadership.
Responsibility for messing up.
Yeah.
Taking responsibility for getting a penalty that cost your team a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that part of it because that's life.
Yeah.
I mean that's gonna my goodness, if a kid has a passion, if it's within your power to allow your kid to pursue that passion, that kid's not going to get in trouble because this whatever it is, paintball, it's going to be too important to him.
Yeah. What do you think paintball has taught me about myself and life? That's really broad.
I mean, you've grown up.
Yeah.
You've matured. You've learned the power of I'm sorry I messed up, taking responsibility. You've learned that you've celebrated joys of having tremendous successes with the teams you've played on, even from when you were little and you played on those teams and woo, you won like a low division tournament and it was like it lit that fire. I always think you learn more from your mistakes than you do from you remember your mistakes. You remember your mistakes. Yeah. But as a parent, to watch you have both this, it's hard for a parent to watch your child struggle. It's so hard. But you learn so much from those struggles. But boy, is it really fun to help you celebrate the successes when you've worked so hard. And talk about the power of teamwork. You learn how to deal with people.
Which you'll deal with the rest of your life.
That is a skill you never. I mean, oh my goodness.
How to motivate people, how to deal with somebody when they're having a bad day.
Know when to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Know when it's important to stand up for what you believe in and how to do it effectively. And you won't always do it effectively, and that's how you learn what doesn't work. I mean, my goodness, sports, I think, teach life skills. When it's a team sport, it's even better because you're dealing with other people. When it's a team sport that involves physical activity, I personally, as a fitness person, like that even better. Because you're getting people off the couch, they're out doing something physically active. And paintball, okay, so you're maybe standing behind a bunker or something, but then you got to run, you got to dive, you got to roll, you got to be in good shape to do all this.
Shape, yes. Last question, what would you imagine my life to be if I didn't play paintball?
Man, you have loved it for so long. I can't imagine your life without paintball. I mean, you'd probably be an accountant somewhere. You'd probably be bored. You'd probably be, here's what I look at. You live very simply. I mean, you enjoy, because you have a passion that you pursue.
Yeah.
You don't look for ways to entertain yourself that cost a ton of money because you don't really have a passion. You know how people that don't have a passion, it's like they're just searching and they live for partying on the weekends, or I don't know what. And you have practices and clinics and stuff you do on the weekend.
There was a few years there where I didn't have a weekend off.
Yeah.
We didn't take a weekend off, and I was lucky enough, Alex. Everything at that time was X Factor and was paid for, but. Yeah,
but when you enjoy it as much as you did, you enjoy. I mean, again, I think you would have been searching, and you may have found something else.
Yeah.
I mean, you may have found something else you would have enjoyed. But my goodness, I did not know it would. I knew it would last a long time. I knew it would last through college.
Yeah.
Because you made that commitment to yourself. You wanted to be a pro by the time you graduated college, and you did it before you graduated college, but that was a goal and that's one of the other thing I love. You set goals for yourself. And you worked your butt off to achieve those goals. Okay, there's a life lesson.
Yeah.
So when you're 70, you're going to set a new goal.
Yeah.
You're always going to follow your passion, whatever your passion is. I just think I can't imagine you not playing paintball. I can't imagine it not being a part of your life forever. Yeah. In some form or fashion.
Yeah.
You love it too much. I mean, when you were, do you remember when I don't know how old you were, you manufactured, you had an idea for something with a paintball gun, and you sent it to a paintball company. You had an idea to make
it was a bowl.
Yeah.
And it's actually, they use a similar design nowadays. But anyway.
But so you've been in some aspects of the sport, you've been thinking about this sport for a really long time.
Yeah.
The marketing of it, the PR of it. I mean, I've seen this sport be strong. The economy took a dive. All the recreational things take a dive. This thing is like coming back so strong right now. And I just love
I think that's why I'm getting these questions now.
Well, I love seeing all the young kids, and actually all the adults that have never experienced it before, having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's across, the paintball's across the board. It's not just for kids. I mean, maybe not somebody my age, but you can get guys in their 20s, 30s, and 40s to get out there on a team and have a great time.
Yeah.
And learn something and be in shape and have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there any last words you have for a potential parent watching this that may be hesitant? Because I'm making this video that some kid will find on Facebook or find on YouTube, and he can show his parents.
Give it a chance.
Okay,
go out there and give it a chance. Oh, they may hear cuss words. You know what? I heard just as many cuss words on my daughter's basketball bench, if that's okay. So they may hear some cursing, but my gosh, have you watched network TV lately?
Yeah, that's true.
You can't go to a movie, so if it's the first time they've heard it, there's probably more problems than that. but it's go be a part of it.
Yeah.
Open your mind to being a part of it. And I can always remember watching you guys play as kids. Oh my God, I'm going to tear up because I just remember it was so cool. You guys, you just come out and you'd be so psyched and you are still as adults, but it was so fun as a parent to watch your kid get so psyched about something and be just
yeah.
Oh, it's just so cool. Sorry, I get emotional. I love paintball. I love what it's done for you and your friends, the guys that I know on your team. I absolutely, you wouldn't be the same without it. I mean, to watch how you've grown and matured. And it's because of paintball. Well, Dad and I did a good job.
Yeah.
But really, I think it's because we allowed you to pursue something that you felt so strongly about.
Yeah.
And were committed to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Y'all, you heard it from my mom, Henry Goff.
I love my little boy.
Thanks y'all for tuning in.